The other day I went to a band competition, and the weather in Ohio is very strange and it shifts very often. So it started raining, freezing cold rain. We were already at the school where the competition would have been, and typically what you're supposed to do in this situation is either you don't perform, you deal with the rain, or if it's so bad, you put on a raincoat and maybe just watch, or we'd go to the other competition, or we just didn't do anything that day. And as a band, we decided that we would still perform in the freezing cold, very hard rain. And the reason we wanted to do that was just for the experience, the practice. It wasn't for some deeper meaning or anything, although I will say our band does have a very strange dynamic, and it's emotional-ish for a school activity, which you see a lot in football games and stuff for football teams. But so we decided to march in the rain, and for some reason, all of us were freezing cold. We had our instruments on the sideline waiting, and you know, it sounds stupid because it's band, but honestly, there's such an emotional, mental clarity that you get from sitting there in the rain, and it's hard to deal with, and you know, you are mentally pushing yourself, and in your mind you're just thinking, it's so cold, I hate this, but I don't care. And this is what I'm here to teach you. In the hardest moments of your life, there is no bullshit in your mind. Think about this. Do you think that a soldier in the trenches in World War I, think to that time, he's sitting there, it's freezing cold, it's snowing and raining at like the same time probably. He's smoking a cigarette, he probably hasn't eaten in 3 days, he's getting shot at, yelled at, probably hasn't slept either. Maybe high on some narcotics, like he's just sitting there. Probably wounded too. He's sitting in the trenches waiting for a chance to pop up and pop another bullet. Do you think in his mind he's thinking, once he pops up and his helmet gets ting, gets shot, do you think he's sitting there and he's thinking, I wish I was eating right now. I wish I was doing this right now. No. Either A, life flashes before his eyes, which you're very mentally clear when that happens. I've read books about this, I've done research. Or B, he is sitting there and all that is going through his head is, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? No bullshit. He's not thinking of what he's gonna do later or what happened before or how he messed up because he should have seen the guy on the other side of the sideline before he stood up and shot. No, he's not thinking of that. He's thinking of, holy shit, I gotta move, I gotta move, I gotta move. They're pushing, screaming, get him, get him. He's not thinking of any bullshit. There's a David Goggins quote that I honestly opened me up to this idea, and I think that it's important that everyone knows it. Now, I'll put it up on screen, but I don't remember the exact quote, but he says, once you're doing hard shit, you'll realize that that's when you'll find yourself. And you can find yourself through meditation, it can help and everything, but honestly, when you're doing hard shit, your brain doesn't care about, you know, if you're sitting there and you're what you're gonna eat later or this or that. If you're sitting here and you're arguing with somebody, or maybe, you know, you're in the gym and you're just working so hard, or it's freezing cold and you're doing your cold exposure thing or whatever, once you're pushing yourself to your limits, that's when your brain is at its clearest. You know, you'll find yourself if you run 100 miles. You'll find yourself. Run 100 miles in the desert. Do 5 Murphs in a row. Hit your hardest weightlifting session you've ever hit. Take away all of the instant gratification out of your life. Put yourself through some serious physical pain, like shit that will affect your body for the rest of your life, just to prove to yourself that you can do it. You'll find yourself. When I was younger, I think how I can relate to this is I see this idea of people who are raised in a very hard environment, like I was, a harsh environment. Even though you may not be aware that it's so harsh, it brings you up in such a good way. Like, think of all of these masculine people, all of these very successful people. David Goggins, his life was shit. His life wasn't very good. More plates, more dates, I think he talks about it a little. Just like all of these super masculine, strong guys, like, they don't just have good upbringings and they come up and they become this super big, crazy guy. They don't. They have bad upbringings. They have bad experiences. and that pushes you to the mental clarity and the understanding. That's why I'm so mature for my age, because I've just been through so much that I understand how the brain is actually supposed to work. So yes, that's what you should take away from this video. If you're, having trouble being mentally clear, maybe put yourself through something hard, and maybe you'll see what you truly think and how you truly react. Goodbye.